welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into the weeds of the server room to look at a very specific piece of hardware. It's the NTI UNIMUX-USBV-4O.
It's a 4-port VGA USB KVM switch.
Right, and its job on the surface seems simple. It lets one person with one keyboard, one mouse, and one monitor control 4 different computers.
But the engineering behind that is anything but simple. Our mission here is to figure out how it does that without causing a total meltdown.
Exactly. And this model is for 4 ports, but the tech itself, you can find it in systems that scale up to, what, 32 computers?
That's right.
So here's the real question for this deep dive. When you switch from computer 1 to computer 2, you're basically unplugging the keyboard and mouse from 3 other machines. So how does this little box stop those, sleeping computers from freaking out and throwing up boot errors?
And that is the absolute core problem this kind of KVM switch was designed to solve. A computer or a CPU that boots up and doesn't see a keyboard or mouse.
Wow.
So it just stalls.
It just stops.
It stops. So the NTI solution, it doesn't just switch the signal. It uses these tiny, dedicated internal microprocessors to perform what they call perpetual emulation.
Perpetual emulation.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds impressive. What are those little chips actually doing?
They're constantly lying. That's the best way to put it.
Lying to the computers.
Yep. They send a signal that emulates a keyboard and mouse to every single attached computer 100% of the time. It doesn't matter which one you're actually looking at.
So as far as the other 3 computers are concerned, the keyboard and mouse are still plugged in and ready to go.
Exactly. And that guarantees an error-free boot every time across the board.
That dedicated deception, I guess, is what lets it handle so many different platforms. The sources point to NTI's patented true auto boot USB switching.
Right.
So we're not just talking about a bunch of Windows PCs. You can have Macs, Sun computers like the T1000 and Windows Server all booting up at the same time without any conflicts.
And that multi-platform support is just huge in these environments. It can handle everything from, Windows 2000 all the way to Windows 10 and 11, Linux, FreeBSD, Mac OS. It's incredibly flexible.
So you could even hook up older stuff to it, like with a PS2 port.
You can, yeah. You just need a little USB adapter, but the system is designed to accommodate that.
Okay, so let's shift from the brains of the operation to the output. Let's talk video. They're promising really crisp resolution up to 2048 by 1436. Why is that specific performance so important here?
Well, you have to look at the other number they give, the 150 megahertz video bandwidth.
Okay.
To put it simply, you need that much bandwidth to push such a high-resolution image to the screen instantly when you switch. Without it, you'd get lag or ghosting. And this thing isn't built for, watching movies.
Oh, this is for professional applications.
Right. Think environments running detailed CAD programs or medical imaging, maybe even air traffic control. Every single pixel matters, and it has to be there instantly.
Got it. Performance meeting precision. Now, physically, this device, it sounds like it's built like a tank.
It is. It's made for a rack. You have these female 15-pin HD and USB Type-B connectors for the host computers.
Yeah.
Very secure. It's all about connection integrity.
And it supports 2 USB devices directly, I see. Your keyboard and mouse.
Yes, but you can actually scale that up to 8 devices if you plug in an external USB hub. Again, the focus is on rock-solid reliability, not just raw speed.
Speaking of reliability, let's hit those metrics. This is where you see the real value. They quote an MTBF, a mean time, between failures of 75,190 hours.
Which is a long time.
It's over 8.5 years of nonstop continuous operation.
And that longevity is backed up by some really specialized deployment options. It takes standard AC power, of course, but it only uses about 5 watts. And they mention an optional DC to DC converter.
Right, the PWR48V5V1A unit.
That 48-volt input is the standard for telecommunications infrastructure. It tells you this switch is engineered to live inside highly regulated, mission-critical facilities.
And we also saw regulatory approvals like CE and RoHS, and maybe most importantly, TAA compliance.
Which is a big deal.
For anyone who doesn't know, TAA compliance means it's certified for use in U.S. government and military contracts. This is definitely not a consumer-grade gadget. The price reflects that too, about $645.
Precisely. I mean, the core value here is giving you centralized, totally error-proof control over a diverse set of high-resolution systems, all from one desk, in an environment where failure just isn't an option.
So when you think about the sheer complexity of that, having dedicated hardware whose only job is to emulate a keyboard and mouse, just to prevent a server from having a bad day. Here's our final thought for you. What system in your own daily life maybe your home media server or a complex security setup, could benefit most from that kind of extreme, centralized, error-proof digital deception. Something to think about until the next deep dive.